The SKIBIDI toilet invasion has begun. Today I will tell you the complete and explained story of the SKIBIDI toilet video series from the beginning to the current episode 72 part 1. You've probably come across some of these seemingly random videos, but they actually hide a great lore which I will explain and narrate in just one video. So if you want to discover the origin, creation and history of the SKIBIDI toilet, stay tuned until the end of the video. If we reach 100 likes, I will explain the new episode of SKIBIDI Toilet and show you all its secrets in an upcoming video. So like and subscribe right now. I am George Isaac 115 and let's get started with the video. This story is based in a world where a part of humanity over the years has evolved to the point where they have security cameras instead of heads. This species is known as cameramen and they live in peace and harmony with humans. Cameramen act as the police or FBI of this world, and everything they see is recorded in their heads, literally. It's important to note that all the videos shown in this story have been recorded by cameramen. One day, a cameraman was in his apartment with two friends, and when he went to the bathroom to urinate, a disturbing head singing a song known as SKIBIDI appeared in the toilet. This was the first video of a SKIBIDI toilet captured on camera. The cameraman didn't understand what was happening, and suddenly the toilet head tried to bite him, but he managed to escape to the hallways outside his apartment. However, when he reached the elevator, he found 3 more toilets with heads singing the same song. From that moment, these head toilets were named SKIBIDI toilets. Humans and cameramen didn't understand what was going on. In the city center, a giant SKIBIDI toilet appeared, escorted by smaller SKIBIDI toilets. As it advanced down the street, the giant accidentally crushed a human. At that moment, humanity understood that these beings were very dangerous. It is believed that the first SKIBIDI toilets are extraterrestrials who arrived on our planet in peace, or so they want us to believe, as everything indicates that SKIBIDI toilets have the power to manipulate certain human thoughts. They managed to convince humanity to never use normal chairs or seats again, but instead replace them with toilets they gifted. They were convinced this was fine until one day a cameraman in a restaurant witnessed how the toilets started sucking the humans sitting on them, leaving only their heads, creating new SKIBIDI toilets. This had been their plan from the beginning. Only a few days had passed since the first SKIBIDI toilets arrived in our world, and they had already turned a large number of humans into SKIBIDI toilets. Some of them could fly and others could spit out more SKIBIDI toilets from their mouths, initiating a massive invasion. The military began to get scared and mobilized their troops to stop the invasion. However, the SKIBIDI managed to manipulate humans into believing that everything was fine and that they were peaceful. They even organized parties in nightclubs with various humans. And so the SKIBIDI toilets continued to convert more humans into SKIBIDI, to the point where even presidents of the United States were turned into SKIBIDI toilets. The cameraman couldn't allow this to continue, so one of them decided to test what would happen if he flushed the toilet of a SKIBIDI toilet. To his surprise, he realized that was the way to kill them. This was the first time a SKIBIDI toilet had been eliminated by a cameraman. However, several SKIBIDI toilets witnessed this and attacked the cameraman, but before dying, he managed to record the arrival of the supreme SKIBIDI toilet. This incident led to a war between cameramen and SKIBIDI toilets. The cameramen only wanted to save humans and prevent them from losing control of the world, but the SKIBIDI toilets had reached such a level of manipulation that they even had a golden monument in the city. Now the cameramen were considered a rebel group and were pursued by the SKIBIDI toilet police. It's worth mentioning that when frightened, cameramen run away dancing. It's a normal thing for them. The SKIBIDI toilets even founded their own church, but cameramen attacked them to try to reclaim their city. Cameramen travel in camera buses or flying ships shaped like old cameras and reach the city center to confront the SKIBIDI toilets, and thus the Great War began. Some cameramen were modified to grow in size and fight against the giant SKIBIDI toilets. However, the supreme SKIBIDI toilet was much more powerful, as it could shoot laser beams from its eyes. The cameramen created a spider-like camera robot, and with the help of the ship, some cameramen surprised the flying skibidi toilets by falling on them and flushing the toilets to kill them. But suddenly, a skibidi toilet tank arrived, which didn't mind destroying its own kind to kill the cameramen. The cameramen were beginning to lose the battle, so they tried to kill skibidi toilets with car bombs, but their plans were thwarted. They even created a fake skibidi toilet with a camera head that was actually a drone to infiltrate a secret skibidi toilet laboratory. A SKIBIDI scientist had created a spider SKIBIDI toilet, which upon discovering the drone made it explode with a beam and attack the cameraman controlling it. Some cameramen used a camera satellite to shoot a powerful beam and eliminate all the giant SKIBIDI toilets gathered in a city, but it didn't work, and the SKIBIDI G toilet destroyed the satellite and the cameraman. The war seemed lost for the cameramen until one day they managed to breed a cameraman titan that easily defeated the spider and military skibidi toilets. Normal cameramen started to relax and enjoy the show of the titan cameramen defeating all the skibidi toilets, but suddenly the skibidi G toilet appeared and attacked the titan cameraman with laser beams. The titan cameraman used a shield to defend himself, but the skibidi tank hit his shield and the skibidi G toilet managed to severely injure him. The titan cameraman had no choice but to escape. This story keeps getting more interesting, and if you're enjoying it, please like and subscribe right now. Don't forget, the cameraman kidnapped a skibidi toilet and interrogated him to find out the whereabouts of the SKIBIDI G toilet, but the skibidi toilet made a strange noise that served to call the SKIBIDI G toilet, who killed all the cameramen there. The cameraman made a plan to surprise the SKIBIDI G toilet from behind and pull his valve, but even that didn't work as the SKIBIDI G toilet could withstand the flushing and killed them. At that moment, we saw a 5-headed skibidi toilet with spider legs, which we'll call the skibidi chimera. Meanwhile, the cameramen in their secret laboratory were repairing the titan cameraman but were attacked by the skibidi toilets. Upon seeing that the titan was there, they tried to escape but were killed by the titan. Some skibidi toilets ate the cameramen and others beat them to death, but there were strong cameramen who could defeat several skibidi toilets. However, they were no match for the skibidi chimera, and when all seemed lost, a talking man appeared who defeated the chimera, now the speaker. Men joined the war to help the cameramen. They are very similar and even dance the same way. They only differ because they have a speaker in their head instead of a camera. The talking men set a trap for the skibidi toilets, so the cameramen and speakers cover their ears with headphones, and a giant spider speaker emits a powerful sound that pushes and explodes the skibidi toilets. In this way, the speakermen and cameramen begin to gain an advantage in the war against the skibidi toilets, but suddenly a giant masked skibidi toilet appears, but it is defeated by a titan speaker with cannons, and upon defeating it, it defecates on the toilet. Literally, the skibidi toilets are now losing the war. The talking men find them even in their hideouts. Because of this, the talking men and small cameramen are celebrating because they already feel like winners. But suddenly, a disturbing skibidi toilet appears that seems to be glitched or damaged, but it actually has super speed, as if it were the Flash. It crushes the heads of all those who were celebrating. On the other hand, several cameramen were kidnapped, and we see how the skibidi toilet scientist has modified his body, and now it spits out skibidi parasites that can hack and take control of a cameraman to force him to kill his own kind. The hacked cameramen attack the cameraman by surprise as they did not expect it, and this way the skibidi toilets managed to regain the advantage in the war. While the titan speaker defeated a military skibidi toilet from behind, the scientist filled it with skibidi parasites and managed to hack the titan speaker, who now brutally attacks his speaker and camera allies. From this moment, the titan speaker emits another music through its speakers, which is the same as the SKIBIDI song. The SKIBIDI G toilet destroys YouTube's offices, and a hybrid between SKIBIDI toilets and cameramen created by the SKIBIDI scientist appears. It seems that all is lost. However, the cameramen discover that if you remove the SKIBIDI parasite from the hacked cameraman, they return to normal. Knowing this, the cameramen capture several hacked cameramen to test their new weapon that shoots a ray that kills the SKIBIDI parasites but doesn't affect the cameras, and this makes makes the hacked cameramen return to normal cameramen. But suddenly they are surprised from the ceiling by the hacked Titan speaker and the SKIBIDI G toilet. The cameramen try to shoot the new weapon against the Titan speaker, but it is too weak to defeat him, so the cameraman who shot it sacrifices himself, not without throwing the weapon to his companion to protect it so they can continue the research and create a better weapon. Press F in the chat for that cameraman hero. The cameramen fled to an alley with the weapon, and after some time they managed to create more parasite killing ray guns. With these they managed to return several cameramen who were accompanying SKIBIDI toilets in the war back to normalcy, and once they were back to normal it was easier for them to flush the toilets. Then they created a tank with a parasite killing ray cannon, and thus they were able to bring the hacked giant cameramen back to normalcy, and so these giants defeated the SKIBIDI hybrid. The cameramen prepared an attack. They managed to find the talking titan on top of a building, and the tank cannon shot the parasite killing ray. But suddenly the SKIBIDI G toilet crossed in the middle and prevented the ray from reaching the talking titan. The supreme SKIBIDI counterattacked and destroyed the tank cannon, thus ending the cameramen's last hope. But the cameramen are being defeated by the SKIBIDI toilets, but suddenly a TV man appeared and emitted a powerful blue light that hypnotized and immobilized the SKIBIDI toilets. With this, the cameramen could flush them down easily. A new hope arose for the cameramen. The TV men told the cameramen to step aside as they would handle the rest of the battle. The giant TV man approached and gave the cameramen a protective lens so that they wouldn't be affected by the giant's power. This giant emitted a powerful white light that made the SKIBIDI stand still and suffer immense pain. The speakerman took advantage of this and pulled the chains. Even several flying SKIBIDI toilets fell and exploded on the ground. After this, a TV titan arrived at the battle, which emitted a red light that tortured the SKIBIDI toilets, causing them to self-destruct. They flushed themselves. Now the cameramen, speakermen, and TV men had the upper hand against the SKIBIDI toilets. The TV men showed the cameramen that they no longer needed the parasite killing weapon, since with the blue light from the TVs they forced the parasites out of the hacked cameramen and even manipulated the parasites to make them kill each other. However, while a cameraman watched this, he was attacked by a new type of SKIBIDI toilets without a mouth that had robotic tentacles. On the other hand, the cameraman now rested and watched as the TV men took care of everything. But what they didn't expect was that the SKIBIDI toilets had put on glasses to avoid being affected by the TV light. Seeing this, the TV men used their teleportation power, which consisted of releasing black smoke and disappearing from the scene, leaving the cameramen behind. Despite this, the TV titan continued to fight, and it was attacked by a robotic SKIBIDI toilets with glasses. The TV titan, with a single blow, smashed its glasses and activated its rock light, making it explode. But suddenly more giant SKIBIDI toilets arrived, all wearing glasses. It seemed like the titan was cornered, but at that moment helicopter speakers arrived and merged with him to become the talking TV titan. He unleashed his maximum power, and the high volume of the speakers destroyed the SKIBIDI's glasses while the TV's light made them explode. It was the perfect combination, and now the glasses wouldn't save this SKIBIDI. But what the TV titan didn't expect was that behind him, the hacked talking titan had arrived. A great battle between titans was about to begin. The TV titan was far superior to the hacked talking titan, so the latter had no choice but to escape. But the TV titan used his teleportation to chase him. He reached a rural area on the outskirts of the city, but the hacked talking titan managed to escape him. It was at that moment that a new modified SKIBIDI appeared that absorbed the cameraman like a vacuum cleaner. Its eyes and ears had been pierced with pieces of metal that the SKIBIDI scientist had placed to prevent it from seeing or hearing, thus avoiding the powers of the TV men and speakers. This vacuum SKIBIDI toilets tried to attack the talking TV titan, but he defended himself and pierced its head with the claws on his back, killing it instantly and saving the cameraman it had absorbed. The talking TV titan teleported again, pursuing the other titan until he reached the destroyed area of the city and realized it was a trap. The hacked talking titan had brought him here so that the supreme SKIBIDI G toilet could attack him by surprise. The SKIBIDI G toilet had robotic enhancements in its body that allowed it to shoot 4 laser beams, but even that wasn't enough to defeat the talking TV titan, who quickly counterattacked using his maximum power of red light and intense sound. The supreme Skibidi was about to be defeated, and suddenly a Skibidi with saws attacked the talking titan from behind and managed to cut pieces of his speakers and a claw from his body before being killed by the titan with the remaining claw. But at that moment, the Skibidi G toilet took the opportunity to destroy the little armor he had left. The TV titan grabbed the supreme Skibidi and used the only power he had left, which was emitting red light through his screen. But what he didn't expect was that the hacked talking titan would attack from behind unexpectedly and would shatter his TV with a knife. The TV titan was completely defenseless, and the Skibidi G toilet and hacked talking titan took the opportunity to attack with all their power. Even a Skibidi parasite came flying to try to hack the TV titan, but it managed to escape just in time. It teleported to an unknown location. All of this was recorded by a cameraman who observed the battle, but unfortunately the Skibidi G toilet saw him and killed him with a shot. Suddenly, a mysterious individual approached the cameraman's corpse and retrieved the video he had recorded before dying. This person had been lurking in the shadows all this time, watching the war of the Skibidi toilets, and had been recovering videos of fallen cameramen, uploading them to his YouTube channel to document everything happening in his city. His name was none other than Dafuk Boom, the same channel that publishes all the episodes of Skibidi toilets in real life. On the other hand, the war continued in the city, and because the TV titan was defeated, now the Skibidi regained control of the situation. Despite this, there was a very brave cameraman capable of defeating 5 Skibidi toilets without any problem, using 2 plungers as weapons, and all of this was being observed by Dafuk Boom in the shadows. Suddenly, a circular Skibidi toilets attacked the cameraman, and while this was happening, the Skibidi G toilet continued searching for the escaped TV titan, and even now wore glasses to be prepared if he found him. Unfortunately, many speaker and cameramen have fallen in combat or have been seriously injured as new Skibidi toilets modified by the Skibidi scientists have appeared. Like this Skibidi, which even has a camera and speaker added to its body, which surely are parts of fallen soldiers' bodies. This Skibidi attacked a surviving cameraman, and when he was about to kill him, he was interrupted by a powerful TV woman who joined the battle. This TV woman used a power never seen before, emitting orange light through her screen, which caused that Skibidi to catch fire and die burned. After this, the circular saw Skibidi wanted to avenge his companion and was about to attack the TV woman, but she used another ability that consisted of separating her TV head from her body. Practically, her TV was now a parasite that helped her control the mind of that Skibidi and made him crash into a giant thief Skibidi before detaching from him and returning to reconnect with the woman's body. There were more Skibidi toilets approaching from behind, so they had no choice but to grab the surviving cameramen and teleport them back to their secret base, the same one where they had been repairing the Titan camera all this time. However, what the cameramen didn't expect was that the Skibidi toilets found their base and began attacking them by surprise. Many modified giant Skibidi toilets raided the base and were killing all the speaker and cameramen. They heard them trying to return to the base, but they were brutally killed by the Skibidi, even setting them on fire. Despite all this horror, there was a cameraman who wasn't afraid of death. The same brave cameraman who defeated many Skibidi with his plungers and survived the circular saw Skibidi's attack. Now he was determined to face all those giant Skibidi alone, using only his 2 plungers. The brave cameraman was willing to give his life to save his brothers, but suddenly the Titan camera descended from the sky and crushed several Skibidi toilets. All this time, the Titan had been repaired and improved in these laboratories, and the great day of his return had arrived. He destroyed the spider Skibidi using his new arm cannon and smashed a giant Skibidi with his new hammer. This Titan camera 2.0 is much stronger than before and didn't suffer any damage when a Skibidi toilet spat fire at him. Moreover, the reactor in his chest can now shoot blue fire, which allowed him to burn that Skibidi toilets. With his other arm, he could attract a robotic Skibidi as if it were a magnet and slam it against the ground. That's how the Titan camera destroyed all the Skibidi toilets that had raided their base. The cameramen and speakermen have been saved, and the Titan went in search of more Skibidi toilets. He defeated the most powerful ones in the city and even incinerated one until it turned into a skull. The Titan brought the brave cameraman cameramen with him to help him in battle, and he easily defeated several Skibidi with his plungers. Even a very powerful camera woman joined the battle who could shoot harpoons at several Skibidi at once. The cameramen's army regained the upper hand in the war, and the Titan easily defeated them all. But what he didn't expect was that a supersonic Skibidi toilets would appear. It came out of nowhere and destroyed a giant speaker man. Seeing this, the brave cameraman didn't think twice and flew with his jetpack ready to fight against that Skibidi toilets that looked like a UFO. But the Titan interrupted them and tried to hit it with his hammer. However, the UFO Skibidi was so fast that it dodged his attacks. It suffered damage from the Titan's pulse cannon shots, so the UFO Skibidi had to escape flying while spewing fire. The army of cameramen now had more powerful weapons, laser rifles, and a tank with a greatly improved parasite-killing cannon. The cameramen shot the new rifles at the Skibidi toilets, causing them to be paralyzed and easily defeated. They also had electric clubs that paralyzed the Skibidi as well. But suddenly the glitched Skibidi reappeared and started decapitating several cameramen until the TV woman came to the rescue. The glitched Skibidi also decapitated her, but she was not defeated by that attack, as she could detach her TV head from her body by herself. She seized the moment and spun around, emitting her violet light in all directions until she managed to hit the glitched Skibidi, completely paralyzing it. This Skibidi was also injected to put it to sleep and possibly use it in experiments. The one who shot it was the scientific Walkman who had been cut in half by the circular saw Skibidi in the past and now had a robotic exoskeleton that allowed him to walk and continue in the battle. On the other hand, the cameraman who had been saved by the TV woman and embraced him to teleport him to the base is now hopelessly in love with her. He even has a picture of her that he keeps in his coat. He's definitely a huge simp. Since the TV woman saved him again for the second time, he wanted to thank her by giving her a hug, but she rejected him and escaped from there by teleporting. F in the chat for this fallen soldier. The cameramen continued fighting and advancing through the city while escorting the armored tank with the improved parasite-killing cannon. Suddenly, a triple bathtub Skibidi stood in their way, but the Titan camera easily got rid of it. However, what it didn't expect was that behind it, the UFO Skibidi was attacking the helicopters of the medical cameramen. This made the Titan go to help them and left the tank unprotected for a few seconds. This was part of the Skibidi toilets plan. They purposely distracted the Titan so that the school Skibidi could arrive and with its toxic vomit destroy the tank and several cameramen around it. This Skibidi is the same one that was burned by the Titan when he fought in the city, and it seemed that the Skibidi scientist had modified it to survive and continue fighting. The Titan camera quickly returned and kicked the Skibidi before shooting it up close with the cannon on its arm. However, this caused the toxic acid to fall on its weapon, destroying it. This happened because the Titan got enraged and acted without thinking. Either way, it managed to defeat the school Skibidi, but the tank had already been destroyed, and with it, the cameraman's last hope. Seeing this, the Titan took a picture and sent these 13 news to his fellow cameramen, who, upon learning that the tank had been destroyed, felt true terror. Even the TV men were disappointed and abandoned the cameramen to their fate, and suddenly the hack talking Titan returned to the battle. It had been repaired and improved. It attacked some cameramen who, no matter how hard they tried to escape, couldn't, and killed one of them with the strong sound of its new speakers. This Titan had just appeared because it was out of danger now, as the tank with the parasite killing cannon had been destroyed. Despite this, the Titan camera was not going to give up. It found the talking Titan and confronted it. It was a very tough battle, but the Titan camera was far superior to the talking one. When it was about to defeat it, the upgraded Supreme Skibidi appeared and attacked the camera Titan from behind. However, this did not harm it, and the camera launched itself against it. This moment was seized by the talking Titan to recover, but what he didn't know was that the brave cameraman was behind him and jumped onto his neck to eliminate the Skibidi parasite controlling the talking Titan. However, the Titan realized in time, grabbed him with its hand and brutally murdered him, crushing him and throwing him to the ground. F in the chat for the brave cameraman who who fought honorably until the end. Meanwhile, the camera titan was defeating the Skibidi G toilet. It burned its face and crushed it with its hammer. After this, it attacked the talking titan, but it was stabbed in the back by a steel Skibidi with its swords. This also did not harm it, and it killed that Skibidi instantly. But this was actually a distraction. A parasite Skibidi flew towards it, but the camera titan caught it first and crushed it. The talking titan took advantage to continue attacking the camera, and suddenly the TV woman teleported on top of the talking titan, jumped to its neck, and started killing the Skibidi parasite controlling it. The talking titan tried to shake off the TV woman, but the camera titan stopped it, grabbing it by the arms. The Skibidi G toilet lunged and was about to attack the camera titan to defend the talking titan. However, the camera woman and other cameramen attacked the Supreme One to distract it, and thanks to this teamwork, they all managed to defeat the talking titan and destroy its Skibidi parasite. The Skibidi G toilet had no choice but to escape from there. The TV woman got off the talking titan and took the brave cameraman with her, perhaps to repair him and bring him back to life in the future. Unfortunately, the TV woman did not realize that the simp cameraman was also dying on the side who was in love with her, and they left him to his fate. Meanwhile, the camera titan completely tore off the Skibidi parasite and crushed it, killing it once and for all. This made the talking titan come back to his senses. He had just been freed and felt very remorseful for all the damage he had done. That's why he flew away from there and very angrily went to murder many Skibidi toilets to take revenge for having manipulated him all this time. All this battle was still being watched by Dafuk Boom, hiding from the heights. At that moment, the talking titan was surrounded by the Skibidi helicopters that used to be the titan's bodyguards and always accompanied him. Without thinking twice, the titan mercilessly finished off all those Skibidi. More powerful Skibidi kept appearing. There was even one with 4 rocket launchers and laser beams, but even that one was easily eliminated by the talking titan while being accompanied by the camera titan. The army of the speakers approached their titan to thank him for helping them regain the upper hand in the war. It was at that moment that both titans bumped their hands, thus officially declaring that they were allies again. On the other hand, the Skibidi G toilet was reunited with its soldiers, and the UFO Skibidi was reprimanding it for its failure. The Supreme One didn't like the tone it was using, and just as it was about to shoot the UFO, another flying Skibidi appeared and grabbed its head. These two flying Skibidi are known as Astro Toilets and have just rebelled against the Supreme One, also known as Skibidi G-Man. They were about to stab it and shoot it in the face, but suddenly the Skibidi scientist attacked them and prevented them from finishing off the Supreme One. He ordered them to get out of there and not to reveal themselves again. The Skibidi scientist is now much more powerful since he has modified and improved himself to the point that he even equipped his body with the speakers that were ripped off the TV Titan. The Skibidi thanked him for saving him, and at that moment they realized that they were being spied on by 2 cameramen, so they killed them mercilessly. And all this video was broadcast in real time on the screen of the great TV man, who was showing them the army of speakers and cameramen and the Titans. The latter more than ever are determined to end the Skibidi G toilet and the scientist. On the other hand, the war continued between the cameramen and the new Skibidi toilets. Even a Skibidi with long hair appeared with the ability to emit a flash of light that affected the cameramen and killed them with rockets. When it was about to finish off the last cameraman in the area, a speaker woman appeared. The light didn't affect her since speakers cannot see. They sense their surroundings with echolocation. She easily managed to defeat that Skibidi toilet and pull its chain. Meanwhile, in another war zone, the medical cameramen were reviving the fallen cameramen in battle. But suddenly, the Skibidi scientist appeared, teleporting himself with the same ability as the TV men. Everything indicated that the scientist, in addition to equipping himself with the speakers that were ripped off the TV man, also put some television pieces in his body to obtain this teleportation power. The scientist used the noise ability of his speakers to easily defeat the cameras and surrounding speakermen. However, the POV cameraman recording that video just as he was dying managed to place himself in the headphones. That is, someone knocked him to the ground. That someone could be none other than Dafuk Boom, who handed him this protection and left walking away unconcerned. He might have had headphones on too and wasn't even afraid of the skibidi toilets. He did this simply so that the POV cameraman could keep recording the skibidi so that Dafuk Boom would recover it later from his corpse and upload it to his YouTube channel. The skibidi scientist was accompanied by the skibidi Giman and many new skibidi mutants that are the scientist's own creations. All of them were wearing headphones because they knew the scientist would use the power of the speakers. Some skibidi with the body of the great speaker man and the great cameraman even appeared, taking care of killing the POV cameraman. The war between the cameramen and skibidi toilets was becoming more violent to the point that a skibidi with pincers brutally stabbed a poor man and cameraman, but suddenly a speaker man with knives easily defeated that skibidi. After that, the mutant skibidi with the body of the great speaker man arrived and blew up one of the cameraman's war cars. However, something strange began to hit it. It moved too fast to be seen, and it was none other than the brave cameraman who had survived and was now inside a vehicle created from the glitched skibidi. Now, the cameraman in the brown shirt, who was the same one the speaker woman had saved, started laughing at the brave cameraman, thinking that his body had now been fused with a skibidi toilet. However, the brave one shut him up since it was just a vehicle he could exit. Despite this, the mutant skibidi hadn't died yet, but a giant speaker man appeared who came to avenge and stabbed the skibidi, killing it instantly. If you're finding this story very epic, I invite you to like the video right now and subscribe and activate the bell to be one of the first to find out all the new secrets of skibidi toilets. And on the other hand, new giant skibidi had appeared, creations of the scientists such as a dishwashing skibidi that had an oven inside and many saws to destroy everything in its path. Several cameramen were killed, although one of them managed to dodge it and survive. Luckily, the talking titan and camera arrived in time to destroy that skibidi. However, the skibidi chief, the toilet, brought another skibidi with missiles and explosives. This skibidi fired its missiles at the camera titan, who used an energy shield to protect himself, while the speaker titan jumped over him and pulled the skibidi's chain. Surprisingly, this was a trap because when the skibidi died, a countdown detonator appeared that would explode all the bombs the skibidi had in its body. Quickly, the camera titan grabbed it and took it to another part of the city to explode without affecting anyone else. Fortunately, this explosive skibidi did not harm the camera titan, who returned safe and sound and shot an energy ball from his finger at some skibidi helicopters. After this, he greeted the POV cameraman, but the speaker titan told the camera titan that they needed to chase the skibidi toilet as it was escaping. After the titans flew away, the POV cameraman managed to see Dafuk Boom at the top of a building and suddenly disappeared. Apparently, this mysterious character is not a normal human and has the power to teleport at will. Perhaps this is why we have seen him in different places of the war, surrounded by a strange green light, because maybe that green aura is part of his teleportation power. Besides, Dafuk could display his face on the city screens and signs, and maybe he's the one who has hidden messages and signs all this time. And on the other hand, there was a skibidi policeman shooting spears and killing cameramen, but strangely he spared the life of the cameraman in the brown shirt. Many monstrous skibidi toilets had gathered in that place, and even the skibidi scientist was there. The skibidi toilet had reached this place, intentionally attracting the titans, as all this was a trap. He stood next to his skibidi soldiers, and when the titans arrived, all the skibidi fled and abandoned the toilet. The skibidi chief didn't understand what was happening until the skibidi scientist himself abandoned him. Apparently, all this was a betrayal organized by the scientist to leave the skibidi toilet alone so that the titans would kill him. The G-Toilet had no choice but to face the Titans with all its might. However, they were much more powerful and managed to destroy the G-Toilet's weapons. The Speaker Titan tried to lower the Skibidi's valve, but it didn't work for some strange reason. But this wasn't an obstacle since the Camera Titan brutally hit the Skibidi with his hammer and punched it in the face many times. The G-Toilet tried to defend itself with laser beams from its eyes, but the Camera Titan covered himself with his energy shield, and the Speaker Titan stabbed both ears of the Skibidi, which was a tactic similar to what he used before against the TV Titan. The Camera Titan took advantage of the moment and completely burned the G-Toilet using the blue fire from the reactor on his chest. It was at that moment that the Titans were bewildered by what they had just discovered. The Skibidi Toilet was actually an imposter. It was another Skibidi using a disguise and weapons to look like the G-Toilet. The real Skibidi G-Toilet had been hidden all this time since the Astro Toilets tried to rebel against him. The Skibidi scientist had created this entire plan: hide G-Toilet and create a fake G-Toilet to lure the Titans into into a trap. But what this fake SKIBIDI didn't know was that the scientist was going to betray and abandon him too. The real aim of this plan was what happened next. While the Titans were trying to understand why there was a fake SKIBIDI inside the G toilet, a group of SKIBIDI with explosives in their bodies were falling from the sky to bombard the Titans. The Speaker Titan was able to escape by flying in time. However, the Camera Titan only managed to cover himself with his energy shield and crouch on the ground. This caused all the SKIBIDI to explode on top of him. All of this had been part of the scientist's plan. The fake G toilet was just a distraction to bomb the Titans with other SKIBIDI which had actually been thrown against their will. These SKIBIDI didn't want to die. Because of this, the POV cameraman was stunned by the explosion and watched as the Speaker Titan was burning, but he was fine, unlike the Camera Titan who had his whole body shattered and had even lost an arm. His weapons and cameras on his back and shoulders were completely damaged, and the main camera in TT was cracked. With his last strength, the Camera Titan tried to tell the POV cameraman that he was okay. Meanwhile, a large war was happening on the outskirts of the SKIBIDI toilet's base as the camera and speaker men were attacking them. Suddenly, all the cameramen received the news on their tablets that the speaking and camera Titans had been defeated and captured by the true SKIBIDI scientist and SKIBIDI G toilet. This made the cameramen very furious, so they decided to beat more SKIBIDIs to death with their own hands. Even Dafuk Boom himself handed a knife to the POV cameraman so he could kill a SKIBIDI more violently, making the cameraman's video look better, as that's what Dafuk really cares about. On one side, Speaker Woman and the Knife Speaker men were stabbing a giant SKIBIDI, and on the other side, the camera woman was shooting at flying SKIBIDIs. TV Woman couldn't be missing as she was also in the battle controlling a SKIBIDI with her TV head to kill other SKIBIDIs. Thus, the three Powerpuff Girls finally joined forces. The POV cameraman helped lift the Speaker Man just as the Speaker Man had done in the past. And at that moment, a SKIBIDI stilt appeared but was easily defeated by Plunderman, who clasped hands with the Knife Speaker Man in the same way their Titans had done before. The most powerful soldiers had gathered, but suddenly the SKIBIDI scientists teleported to this place and they all had to flee from there. The TV woman took her two friends, the brave one flew away, and a TV man appeared to take the Knife Speaker Man. The rest of the soldiers had to run to a container held by the large TV man. And when only one large cameraman was left to enter, he was intercepted by a mutant SKIBIDI and his head was cut off. F in the chat for that other fallen soldier. The large TV man used his power of white light to stop the mutant SKIBIDI, but it put on sunglasses so the light wouldn't affect it. Anyway, they managed to escape from there because the large TV man teleported them to a secret place where many TV men were sheltered. A TV scientist told the cameraman that this place is their secret hideout. Right there, the TV Titan that had been repaired and upgraded was present. On the other hand, a cameraman had gathered with the Dafuk Boom himself atop a tower. This mysterious figure handed him a strange device and disappeared. He entrusted a secret mission to this cameraman. Just below this tower, a POV large cameraman was in his war car advancing towards the main entrance of this base. He used his rocket launchers to take out several SKIBIDIs, but his fellow large cameraman was injured, and suddenly the SKIBIDI Mafia appeared in front of them. Apparently, this SKIBIDI had been modified by the scientist who had also given him the power of teleportation stolen from the TV man. The SKIBIDI Mafia fired with his new toxic acid weapon and killed the large cameraman. The POV tried to counterattack, but it did nothing, and at that moment, the speaking and camera Titans had arrived to the rescue. Apparently, the message the cameraman had received was a false image sent by the SKIBIDI toilets to discourage the alliance, or maybe Dafuk Boom himself sent that false message so that the cameramen would fight with more fury and violence and their videos would look more epic, because for a moment Dafuk's image was seen on the tablet. However, the Titans are actually safe and have not been captured by the SKIBIDIs. Although they are injured and the camera Titan still lacks an arm, a circular saw SKIBIDI tried to attack it, but the camera Titan took the opportunity, ripped off one of its arms and placed it on himself. With this new arm, he easily took out the SKIBIDI and also slapped the SKIBIDI Mafia, who was about to shoot with his toxic cannon, but the Speaker Titan fired first and made all the acid from the weapon fall on the SKIBIDI's face. After this, the Speaking Titan also slapped him and killed him. It was at that moment when the SKIBIDI scientist appeared in front of them and the battle Battle of Titans began. The Speaker Titan managed to damage one of the scientist's laser cannons, but he counterattacked with his new acid weapon and destroyed the Speaker's arm cannon. So the Titan used the ray from his chest to destroy the acid weapon, but the scientist had another additional arm with a more powerful laser ray, which knocked down the Speaking Titan. The Camera Titan took advantage and cut off that arm of the scientist, but the SKIBIDI used the power of his speakers to repel the Camera Titan. At that moment, Plungerman arrived to help, but was stopped by the scientist's sound power and was defeated again by a laser shot from the eye. For now, it is not known if he survived. The Camera Titan, very angry, cut off the same eye that the scientist used to attack Plungerman, but suddenly the improved SKIBIDI G toilet appeared behind him and shot him in the legs, making him fall. The scientist took advantage of the opportunity and with his tongue removed a protective lens from the Camera Titan, which in turn destroyed the speakers on the scientist's chest. However, this was a grave mistake because behind those speakers was a giant screen which all this time was responsible for allowing the SKIBIDI scientist to teleport. He used the power of the red light from this television, and since the Camera Titan no longer has the protective lens, he was manipulated to cut his own head off. The Camera Titan was about to die, but the Speaking Titan stopped him. Despite this, the camera kept trying, so the Speaking Titan had no choice but to cut off his arm with a knife, but the Camera Titan kept trying to kill himself by hitting his head so hard that it would come off his body, and suddenly the SKIBIDI scientist came up with a better idea. He changed to violet light on his screen to control the Camera Titan. The speaker couldn't allow it, so he was going to throw a knife, but the G2LA stopped him. Now the Camera Titan began to brutally beat the Speaking Titan against his will due to the violet light. The POV large cameraman wasn't going to stand idly by, so he fired his 2 rocket launchers at the scientist's screen. However, it did no damage, and suddenly a knife hit the screen, destroying it instantly. This made the Camera Titan stop his attack against the speaker, who was very injured, and the one who threw this knife was none other than the TV Titan, who has returned. The SKIBIDI G toilet was so afraid that he preferred to escape from there and abandoned his friend. The scientist also tried to escape, but since his screen had been destroyed, he could no longer use the television man's teleportation power, so he had no choice but to fight to the end. The TV Titan after so long has returned, and now he is improved and equipped with a sword which he used to cut off all the scientist's arms and weapons. He tore off the screen and made him suffer with the power of the red light, caused him to catch fire, and then he pierced his head with his sword. To make sure he died, he finished his attack by firing a laser beam from the reactor in his chest, and so the SKIBIDI scientist was destroyed. However, it was actually a robot, in other words, a kind of shell in which inside was the true SKIBIDI scientist, who is much smaller. After this, the camera and speaker titans recovered, and the television gave another protective lens to the camera. The speaker titan nervously and ashamedly greeted the TV Titan since the last time they saw each other. The speaker had stabbed the TV Titan's head with a knife, so now he is ashamed of what he did, and the TV Titan warned him not to stab him again. Suddenly, 3 SKIBIDI G toilets appeared, accompanied by more flying SKIBIDIs. These G toilets are actually imposters pretending to be their boss, so that the real G toilet is not in danger, but they are still very strong. So the TV Titan engaged in battle with them. The camera and speaker titans accompanied him but would stay in the rear. At that moment, the POV large cameraman's video was intercepted by Dafuk Boom himself, who told him to look to his left, and upon doing so, he realized that the real scientist was still alive and had come out of his giant robotic suit. He noticed the POV cameraman and attacked him with a laser beam, but the large cameraman dodged it and counterattacked with his 2 rocket launchers. The scientist had no choice but to escape and take shelter inside his SKIBIDI base, but the POV cameraman couldn't let him escape, so he pursued him. The entrance to the base was closing, but the POV managed to enter just in time, and turning around, he realized that the large speaker man was holding the door so that his brothers could enter. The plunger man was still alive and also ran to the SKIBIDI base, and just before the hatch closed, he managed to pass. However, this cost the life of the large speaker man. He just sacrificed himself so that all his brothers could enter and defeat the SKIBIDIs. F in the chat for this large hero. We will remember you forever, large speaker man. However, all of this is very suspicious. So when the POV large cameraman entered the base, there was already a cameraman inside who was close to the door controls, which had green electric rays. That cameraman is the one who has survived the longest in the entire series since he first appeared in episode episode 3 and is still alive. That's why we know him as the survivor cameraman. He's the same one in the brown shirt who was saved by the speaker woman, who mocked the plunger man, and who wasn't attacked by the Skibidi police because the Skibidi seem to know who he works for. In reality, this survivor cameraman is the one who encountered Dafuk Boom. All this time he has actually been working for him, betraying the trust of his brothers, as nobody knows about this. Possibly Dafuk Boom is a powerful individual who doesn't belong to any side, even though he usually helps both in exchange for them not daring to attack him or his partner, the survivor cameraman. And with this device that Dafuk gave him, he managed to hack the controls of the gate and open it to enter the Skibidi base. However, when the large speaker man was holding the door, this cameraman betrayed him and deactivated the green rays so that the door would be heavier and kill him. So in reality, he is the traitor cameraman, but nobody has realized this. In addition to him, camera and speaker men managed to enter, including the red speaker man and the plunger man, who returned one of his plungers that they had managed to recover. The POV large cameraman managed to see the Skibidi Toilets logo and told his companions that they should go to the left since he had seen the scientists go in that direction. However, the traitor cameraman stood in front of everyone and showed them a video in which supposedly the scientist was setting a trap for them, because if they went to the left, 2 Skibidis with rocket launchers would kill them, whereas the right path would be empty without any Skibidis in the way. So he convinced his friends to go in that direction. Meanwhile, outside the base, the TV Titan was fighting against the G Toilet clones alone. He could even detach the television from his head and shoulders from the rest of his body. In reality, this Titan is composed of several televisions, each with its own personality. All the televisions could fly, and the Titan's body continued to fight as it is controlled by the television at the belt. 2 of the televisions were burning their enemies, and the other television controlled a Skibidi helicopter to crash into its fellow. And after defeating them all, suddenly a parasitic Skibidi tried to infect the Titan's body, but couldn't do it as this Titan is immune to parasites thanks to a protection system that electrocutes any Skibidi attempting to control it. All the televisions returned to the Titan's body, and only the last G Toilet clone, which had been trapped by the camera and speaker Titans, remained to be defeated. They released him to fight against the television, but he managed to teleport only his arm behind the G Toilet and pierced him with his sword. Thanks to this Titan having several televisions, he can teleport parts of his body separately. And after this, the POV cameraman who observed the entire battle asked the large TV man to teleport him inside the base. However, he replied that it is not a good idea and that they better observe first what is happening inside. He showed them through his screen the plungerman's transmission, where they saw how they were taking down several Skibidis, and the traitor cameraman was opening a hatch by hacking it with his device. But he was acting like an idiot. Upon opening the hatch, they realized that there were more Skibidi toilets they had to fight. But this didn't match what the traitor cameraman had shown them. Supposedly this corridor was clear, but it was a lie. Surely Dafuk Boom gave that fake video to the traitor cameraman to deceive his companions and guide them in this direction. The plunger man began to suspect and was going to interrogate the traitor, but suddenly they noticed something in the distance. So he went to investigate with the large cameraman. The traitor tried to stop them, but they didn't listen to him. And the POV plunger man managed to see how they were equipping the Skibidi toilets with toxic acid weapons. Apparently this is the Skibidi toilet's laboratory, and when the plunger cameraman approached further, an error message appeared on his transmission and video recording, which may mean that there are devices in this area causing interference so that nobody records this. Therefore, the brave one retreated, but the laboratory security alarms were activated and the Skibidi toilets discovered them. The plunger man managed to see 2 Breaking Bad Skibidi toilets and construction Skibidis, to which he gave a rude gesture, and the large cameraman shot his rocket launcher at a barrel to explode them all. They took advantage of this to escape and saw how the traitor cameraman was already fleeing from before. Suddenly, on the other side of the corridor, a new Skibidi scientist appeared, who is the same one who used to be small and worked with the original Skibidi scientist a long time ago. The plunger cameraman and the large cameraman had to follow the traitor cameraman to escape, but the large cameraman was hit by a beam from the new scientist. This Skibidi was entering the elevator and everyone attacked him to stop him, but it was the large cameraman's rocket launcher shot that managed to stop him. However, he was badly wounded and his last help was to give his protective lens to the plunger cameraman who had lost his when the giant Skibidi scientist attacked him head-on, and he gave it to him so that he could continue with the mission. And as a farewell, the large cameraman made a last like gesture with his hand and died. F in the chat for this large cameraman who sacrificed himself until the last moment to help his brothers. We will remember you forever. Now the plunger cameraman is more furious than ever and will do everything possible to avenge his brothers and to finally finish off the Skibidi toilets once and for all. The elevator stopped at an underground level which was dark and with red lights due to the alarms, but in reality this is the place the traitor cameraman wanted to guide them to from the beginning by Dafuk Boom's orders. They advanced through a corridor where there were spider Skibidis and parasites, and they had to fight them while on their sides there were cells with mutant Skibidis locked up. The plungerman had improved his plunger by adding spikes and managed to see several human corpses on the ground, including one of a human scientist. Perhaps these humans were responsible for creating the Skibidi toilets in this laboratory until everything went wrong, and now the Skibidis have taken control of this place. When they reached the hatch, the survival cameraman opened it with his device. However, upon entering, they were surprised by a mutant Skibidi that ripped the head off one of the cameramen. The plungerman fought fiercely against him, and with the help of the red speakerman, they managed to defeat him. But this was just the beginning, as suddenly all the hatches opened and all the mutant Skibidi started to chase them. Even a Skibidi Michael Jackson appeared, but the survivor cameraman managed to close the hatch in time. Although he almost left the speakermen trapped, they started dancing to celebrate that they had been saved, and suddenly Skibidi Jackson destroyed the door and killed them. Everyone else had to quickly flee from there, but unfortunately the cameraman who had previously given the plunger to the plungerman had been injured, and along with his friend they were being pursued by Skibidi Jackson. The survivor cameraman had to close the last hatch to save himself, but he couldn't do it because he couldn't abandon his fellow cameramen. With this, we better understand his true intentions. He is a traitor because he works for Dafuk Boom, but he still cares about the well-being of his cameraman brothers. However, he doesn't care about what happens to the speakermen. That's why he let the large speakerman die and almost let the other two speakermen die too. The red speakerman realized this and snatched the device from him, because if they didn't close the door in time, they would also die, but the plungerman asked him to wait a little longer. And suddenly Skibidi Jackson caught up with the cameramen and killed them. F in the chat for these fallen soldiers who helped the plungerman until the end. The red speaker managed to close the hatch in time, but the plungerman blamed him for letting his friends die, so he was very angry and attacked him brutally with his fists. But after the second blow, he understood that the red speaker did what he had to do to save them. So he delivered the final blow against the wall, leaving a large hole in it, demonstrating the tremendous strength of the plungerman and how resistant the red speakerman is to have endured 2 blows from him on the face. Luckily, this speaker understood the anger of the plungerman, did not defend himself from the blows, and simply moved forward. The plungerman was so furious that when he gestured with his middle finger at the Skibidi toilets, his hand trembled. After this, he continued advancing with the remaining cameramen towards the depths of this disturbing laboratory of the Skibidi toilets. But the traitor cameraman made them deviate towards an elevator because he showed them through a transmission that if they continued to the end of the corridor, they would encounter the original Skibidi G toilet and die. And at that moment, some hatches opened at the back and Skibidi toilets appeared to kill them. Meanwhile, outside the base, the speaker and camera titans were repaired by Alliance helicopters, and the TV titan gifted the camera titan the energy it stole from a G toilet clone to regain its strength, and both titans bumped their hands. After this, the 3 titans continued their mission to destroy the Skibidi base. Now all cameramen and speakermen have equipped themselves with jetpacks, headphones, protective lenses, and even the POV cameraman with a super shotgun. They opened the entrance to the laboratory and began attacking the evil army of Skibidi toilets with all their weapons. The cameramen had large rolls of toilet paper and even used a blue fire flamethrower similar to the power of the camera titan and a laser cannon similar to the speaker titan. The POV large cameraman using that cannon managed to eliminate several Skibidis but couldn't damage some armored Skibidis. Fortunately, the titans arrived to help him, and the TV titan finally gave part of its energy to the speaker titan to recover from its wounds. In this way, the speaker titan had become more powerful than ever and easily dealt with many flying Skibidis. Meanwhile, the camera titan took the opportunity to rip off a toxic barrel arm from a Skibidi and replaced its lost arm. The The speaker titan spinning in the air and firing its chest laser took out more Skibidi so impressively that even the TV titan acknowledged its great ability. Suddenly, the Skibidi DJ that we had not seen since the beginning of the series appeared, and now he was upgraded. However, an Astro Toilet appeared behind him and removed his complete armor, leaving him defenseless and throwing the Skibidi DJ aside. This was done to intimidate the Titans, and also because the Astro Toilet seemed to no longer work with the Skibidis since the argument they had with the G-Toilet. This Astro Toilet is the same one that grabbed the G-Toilet with its pincers, but has now been upgraded with more powerful pincers capable of stopping a shot of energy from the camera titan and returning it. Even he was able to easily dodge the TV titan's shot, which asked him, "Who do you think you are?" To which the Astro Toilet laughed and replied in English, "You will all die." This is the first time a toilet has been heard speaking in the same language as humans without repeating the Skibidi song. This is because this is not a Skibidi toilet, but rather an Astro Toilet, which can speak. This enraged the TV titan even more, who used his teleportation power in his arm to attack him with his sword from behind. However, the Astro Toilet already knew this ability of the TV titan because his friend, the other Astro Toilet, observed from the shadows the confrontation between the TV and the scientist and told him about it. This allowed him to dodge this attack and snatch the sword from the TV titan and throw it back at him, causing it to stab into the television's arm. After this, the Astro Toilet escaped at high speed, leaving the TV titan very angry. At that moment, the three women who had been upgraded arrived flying, and the POV large cameraman indicated to them where they should enter the Skibidi base. All of this was observed by the infiltration squad thanks to the survivor cameraman's tablet as they rode up in the elevator. But suddenly everything started to shake and the lights went out. The cameramen turned on their flashlights, and for a moment they could see two cameraman ghosts, which are likely those who died because of Skibidi Michael Jackson. The elevator's ceiling exploded, and from the hole a Skibidi appeared and threw the corpse of another cameraman with a bomb. The infiltration squad managed to dodge the explosion, but this Skibidi landed on a cameraman and pierced him with his pincer. The rest of the cameramen fired their paralyzing rays, and the dark speakerman threw his knives into the Skibidi's eyes, and with everyone's help they managed to immobilize this Skibidi. And at that moment, the cameraman who had been pierced decided to sacrifice himself for his friends and throw himself into the abyss, pulling the Skibidi, taking advantage of the fact that he was immobilized. And since this Skibidi had bombs around him when he hit the ground, they exploded. F in the chat for that cameraman who sacrificed himself for his brothers. All of this caused the elevator to start falling, so quickly the plungerman grabbed the rifle from the sacrificed cameraman and began to climb with his clawed hands, while the dark speakerman took care of saving the survivor cameraman and the other normal cameraman. This ability to pull out claws is possessed only by the most experienced cameramen, such as the Titan camera when he used it against the Skibidi G toilet clone in episode 65. And thanks to these claws, the brave one managed to climb, but at the top the dark speakerman offered him his help, but the brave one rejected it as he is still angry with him. After this, the survivor cameraman told them where they needed to go, and everyone had to turn off their lights, including the dark speakerman, so the Skibidis wouldn't find them in the darkness. The good thing is that the cameramen have night vision, but suddenly the lights were turned on and the Skibidis discovered them. The survivor had to open several doors and close others so that the Skibidis couldn't catch them until they finally reached a mysterious room where they kept objects from past battles as if they were trophies. There they found the spider camera's camera, the first cannon of the Titan speaker, the left arm of the Titan camera, among other things. The plunger man found a communication from the Skibidi scientist with the Astro Toilet, but it was in Skibidi language, and then he observed on the wall a poster with news from February 7th, 1979 showing Dafuk Boom becoming the new administrator of this underground laboratory, which had been created by the government. In the photo, there are more scientists who are surely the ones who accidentally created the Skibidi toilets and themselves also ended up becoming Skibidis. But the most most alarming thing of all is that Dafuk Boom himself has been the former boss of this laboratory of the SKIBIDIs. What happened in that year, and why does Dafuk Boom still look just as young despite decades passing? Something very strange is happening, and perhaps that's why Dafuk gave the mission to the survival cameraman to venture into the laboratory, perhaps to retrieve something from Dafuk that could help them in this apocalypse. And perhaps Dafuk has now become a powerful entity but cannot enter the laboratory for some reason. This would also explain why Dafuk had a tablet with access to the doors and security cameras of the base, because he used to be the administrator there, and now he handed that tablet and device to the survivor cameraman. Moreover, February 7th is the date the first episode of Skibidi Toilet premiered. What's even stranger is that the survival cameraman found 2 books of the television man there, and they didn't understand why, but suddenly the survivor was pierced by a tentacle and thrown against some display cases. It was the Skibidi without a mouth that appeared in episode 42 and has now returned upgraded and with a screen. The Skibidi used the red light power of its television to force the brave and the normal cameraman to kill themselves, but the dark speakerman couldn't allow this. He tried to save both, but by helping the brave more, the normal ended up removing his head. The brave barely managed to put on the protective lens that had been given to him by the large cameraman, and as he got up, he saw how the Skibidi had trapped the dark speakerman. The brave threw his plunger at the screen to disable its power and shot it in the eyes with the sacrificed cameraman's weapon. The dark speakerman recovered, and together with the brave, they finished off this Skibidi. It seems that with this, they both reconciled, although this battle caused the dark speakerman to lose an earpiece from his headphones. After this, the plunger man grabbed the door opening device from the survivor cameraman, and the dark speakerman picked up a spear and a knife from the display cases. The brave did the same and grabbed headphones and a jetpack from the cases to be fully protected and able to fly. However, they didn't try to lift the survival cameraman because they believed he was dead, or perhaps because they never trusted him. The plungerman opened the door with the device, and along with the dark speakerman, they continued to advance through this laboratory. However, a Skibidi toilet came out of a door but couldn't see them because they had become invisible. Apparently, an invisible cameraman was helping them from the shadows. The plungerman cameraman prevented the door from closing thanks to the device, and they were able to reach the Skibidi scientist, who was on a video call with the Dafuk Boom himself, who was mocking him and warning the scientist that he is about to die. The camera plungerman closed the door so they would be alone with the scientist and could kill him once and for all, but the scientist activated some cannons he had in that room to attack them. Fortunately, the plungerman deactivated them, preventing them from being killed. Meanwhile, the scientist tried to escape through a rear door, but the plungerman closed it with his device. Then the scientist tried to teleport using some controls on his chest, but the plungerman hacked those controls too and prevented it. Since he couldn't escape in any way, the scientist had no choice but to fight them. The plungerman and the dark speakerman fought fiercely against the scientist, but the Skibidi managed to split the speaker in two and shot directly at the plungerman, who managed to cover himself with the sacrificed cameraman's rifle, but this left him badly wounded on the ground, and he saw how the dark speakerman was murdered with the scientist's laser beam. After this, the plungerman grabbed the device from the survivor cameraman, and with it, he managed to remove the hacking from the scientist's controls and reactivated them to escape by teleporting. However, at that moment, the large TV man arrived, who had replaced his retractable screens with speakers and activated a power to absorb the black smoke from the scientist and prevent him from teleporting. Then the Skibidi shot him with a laser beam, but the large TV man used his speakers to defend himself from the attack. He used his white light and managed to injure the scientist, who, feeling cornered, used his last resort, opening a door beneath him and launching himself into it, revealing a giant robot of the Skibidi scientists. The large TV man and the tactical camera and speaker managed to retreat in time and close the door, but the Skibidi shot and destroyed the door, injuring everyone behind it and killing some. Meanwhile, through the door behind the scientist arrived the large cameraman and the 3 women. The large cameraman fired his laser cannon to create a hole in the robot's back, through which the 3 women entered without the scientist noticing. The large cameraman distracted the scientist enough until the women reached the real Skibidi and began stabbing him from the inside. This caused immense pain for for the scientist, who had to exit his robot and push the women off him. The scientist was so injured and desperate that he opened a door above to try to escape again. But what he didn't expect was that the 3 titans were up there waiting for him. The titan camera grabbed him and burned him with the fire from its chest. Then the TV titan crushed him with his hand and passed him to the titan speaker, who was too angry with the scientist because in the past he had hacked him with his SKIBIDI parasites. So the time for revenge had come, and he brutally beat him against the wall, killing him completely. Finally, after so long, the SKIBIDI scientist had been killed. And however, the most shocking thing happened next. Many of you still haven't subscribed to the channel, so this is the perfect time to click on the subscribe button and activate the bell so we can continue telling this story. Have you done it? Now give it a like and I'll explain what happened. The camera plunger man took off the protective lens and saw the return of the large TV man who was injured and managed to save only 2 cameramen. Then he looked over at the dark speaker man who was dying. The plunger man crawled over to him to say goodbye to his large friend, shook his hand, apologizing for hitting him, and the dark speaker man died. F in the chat for this fallen soldier who fought with honor until the end. The women were very sad. Even the TV woman had a crying face on her screen. And the most shocking thing was that behind the camera woman was the surviving cameraman who was still alive. And he turned invisible, and next to him were 2 cameramen who were invisible and shook hands as they had just successfully completed the mission entrusted to them by Dafuk Boom. These cameramen are the ones who made the dark speaker man and the plunger man invisible moments ago. And they are also the same cameramen who handed over the plunger man to the plunger man and for whom he blamed the dark speaker man for his death. And apparently they are still alive. Everything indicates that Dafuk Boom saved them at the last moment and gave them a second chance in exchange for working for him. This must have been what happened with the surviving cameraman as well. And now these cameramen turned to look at the plunger man and activated a green light to enter the head of the camera plunger man and show him a secret transmission that only he could see. And it was none other than Dafuk Boom who wanted to deliver a message to him. He was at a desk with heads of camera, speaker, and TV men, and there was a cameraman who handed him a floppy disk containing very important information. Dafu thanked the plunger man for helping to kill the SKIBIDI scientist, but warns him that an even greater threat is coming, which is the Astro Toilet. Dafu indicated that everything he and his cameraman agents have done is secret and cannot leave evidence. And now that the plunger man saw Dafuk's face in the scientist's video call, and since he saw the invisible cameraman, he is a witness to all this. At that moment, this secret transmission ended, and suddenly Plunger Man was dying. Before the transmission, he was injured, but not so severely, and now he was in agony. The camera woman couldn't believe it and was very sad because she appreciated Plunger Man a lot. With his last strength, Plunger Man wanted to bid farewell to the camera titan by making the like gesture, and he died. The brave cameraman has just died in this battle too. But did he really die, or is this actually Dafuk Boom's plan to make everyone believe that Plunger Man died, but in reality he was only injured, and Dafuk will rebuild him so that now these cameramen will work for him in the shadows. The surviving cameraman went to that place to say goodbye to his friend Plunger Man, but this did not please Dafuk Boom, who ordered him to return to where he was to deceive the Alliance into believing that all this time he was lying unconscious on the ground, until a group of the Alliance arrived and a tactical speakerman lifted him up. When Plunger Man was dying, he managed to transmit video of almost all his last moments, except for the parts where Dafuk or the survivor appeared, because there was interference in those parts. And when he died, the whole Alliance saw that transmission and bid farewell to the brave cameraman who fought honorably until the end. Even the cameramen injured in combat, camera medics, large cameraman, and even a detective cameraman from the medical area of their base bid farewell to Plunger Man. This was also observed by the scientific camera, who was a great friend of Plunger Man and was so angry at his loss that he hit the robot he was in. He was with more cameramen fighting in a village near the SKIBIDI's laboratory, which is located in the same mountainous desert called Alpha Hills. A mutant police SKIBIDI appeared on top of a construction and attacked the scientific POV camera, who with his robot managed to dodge the attack in time. The POV managed to finish off several mutant SKIBIDIs easily thanks to his robot, but there was still many more left, and he saw how the police SKIBIDI cut 2 cameramen in half with his scythe and shot his remaining 2 rockets at the POV cameraman. He managed to dodge it and attacked with his laser beams, but the Skibidi covered himself with his riot shield and attacked him with his scythe. The POV had to cover himself with the right arm of his robot, but the police Skibidi cut it off, and he did great damage to the robot. At that moment, someone shot the police Skibidi, and it was none other than an upgraded spider camera who also finished off the rest of the Skibidis around. The spider camera fired many powerful shots at the police Skibidi, who, seeing that his shield was not enough to protect him, tried to flee but fell to the ground very injured. At that moment, a giant Bill Skibidi toilet appeared that didn't seem to be harmed by the attacks of the spider camera. This Skibidi attacked with all its rockets at the spider, but apparently it didn't do any damage either. The spider camera fired its maximum power, which is an energy sphere similar to that of the camera Titan, and finished off Bill Skibidi toilet with a single blow. The scientific POV camera made the like gesture with his robot hand and real hand to the spider camera, thanking her for saving him. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Titans had reached the place where the G-Toilet had killed the Alliance members. The camera Titan was so angry that it finished off a toilet Skibidi and flew away very quickly in search of the G-Toilet. The speaker Titan and television Titan were also very angry and accompanied it. The scientific POV camera was advancing towards the police Skibidi, who was wounded on the ground while the spider camera was covering him. The POV threw a toilet paper grenade at a Skibidi and grabbed the police Skibidi's scythe to kill him with his own weapon. This Skibidi said goodbye, making the gesture of the middle finger, and when the scientific POV camera was about to kill him, everything started to shake because the G-Toilet Skibidi had arrived here. He shot the POV with his laser beam, causing him to fly away from there, and his robot was very injured. The spider camera tried to attack with its maximum power at the G-Toilet, but it activated an energy shield and received no damage. Even the G-Toilet has many hidden powers that we don't know about. The Skibidi counterattacked and eliminated the spider camera. At that moment, the POV's robot was about to self-destruct, so the scientific camera got off running from there just before it exploded. And upon getting up, he realized how the toilet Skibidis who were previously in the laboratory with the G-Toilet were passing by, including the Skibidi Michael Jackson, the DJ Toilet, and the golden Skibidis carrying 2 containers. Inside these containers are hidden experiments that the Skibidi scientist was working on and left unfinished. A builder Skibidi asked the G-Toilet where they should continue advancing, and when he was saying goodbye, the Claw Astro Toilet appeared and crushed him into a ball. He threw it at the G-Toilet and told him that he would punish him for betraying the Skibidi scientist and Astro Toilets. Apparently, the G-Toilet is not the supreme leader, but all this time he has only been a commander of the Skibidi's army who was in the same rank as the Skibidi scientist, and since he abandoned him recently, G-Toilet is now considered a traitor. And the Claw Astro Toilet received the mission to avenge and finish him off. This is how the great battle between the Claw Astro Toilet versus the Skibidi G-Toilet begins. If there was at least one secret in this video that you didn't know about Skibidi Toilet, I challenge you to like it right now. Remember that if we reach 100 likes, I will explain and bring all the secrets of the next episode of Skibidi Toilet. Subscribe and activate the bell. I am George Isaac 1 of 15. Greetings and until next time.